What's up guys, we're here back again with another Division 2 build video. Welcome back. Today's build guide, this is my Overcharged Oxidiser build using the Fox's Prayer Kneepads. This is such an underutilized build that I have to share it, and guys, trust me, take it into heroics with teams. You'll see the benefit of how this build works. You have that never-ending spam of the Oxidiser, and then not to mention this does work heavily in legendary content due to the fact that damage is so awesome and you can keep spamming and spamming and spamming. And you also have a huge amount of protection from elites to make sure your sustain and your survivability is there and on point. But of course guys, if you enjoy this build, you enjoy the video, thumbs doodle, yeah, you know, it helps, it really does. And if you're new to the channel, drop the woo bomb on the sub button, ding the bell to be notified when I upload my content. Guys, let's woo this. Now guys, this is the build I've been using, and it is uber duper fun, and I'm going to go through it step by step. Hopefully you enjoy it. Trust me, it works an absolute sweet treat. Now I'm using Technician. I'm using Technician because one, I want that 10% skill damage. And before we go into the build and we dip dive any further, let's just get the ugly elephant out the room straight away. And that's just say this: the Oxidiser skill variant does not provide a status effect. So if you have an Oxidiser build and you're using status effects, it won't benefit you or your build one iota, guys. It doesn't. Skill damage is the only skill variant you need. That is the only attribute you have to benefit from the Oxidiser skill. So guys, status effects, if you've got it on there, take it off. It don't work. Go all in skill damage and you will reap the rewards. Now with this, guys, Technician, you know how it works by now. Firstly, you get that passive 1 skill tier. Great. That means I can add a point on of damage or a point on of armor. That gives you more survivability or more weapon damage. It's entirely up to you. And also that 10% skill damage speaks dividends. Let's go through this. So I am 1 offensive, I am 0 defensive, and I am 5 utility stats. These Legos are a nice combination, and once I go through the build, you'll see how this works. I'm 726k armor, 323k health, and let's go through the pieces. We'll start with the mask, guys, and the mask is Empress International. And if you don't know by now that this is the best brand set for your skills, you just get it on. You really, guys, it's that good. I mean, you get 10% skill health. Okay, with this build, it'll only benefit your turret, but still, it helps. And then you get 10% skill damage, which, guys, you know that skill damage, keep stacking it, is great. And skill efficiency is, yeah, breakdown of the attributes, being skill damage, skill repair, skill haste, status effects, all that kind of jazz. That is skill efficiency. So I'm getting a lot more skill damage, a lot more bang for my buck with these pieces. So 3-piece Empress International is the only way to go on the build. And with this, guys, you can see how I've got this piece set out. It is skill damage, it is armor regeneration, which is helpful, and protection from elites. This is set out for legendary content. Now with this, guys, someone may be thinking, why am I not using skill haste? Trust me, peeps, I don't need it. So you could use protection from elites for legendary content. I feel that extra 36% protection from elites is beneficial, keeps you alive a little bit longer, means you can spam those purple heals, yeah, for the bad guys a little bit more. Or, yes, or you could go for armor on kill. And for something like heroic content, that's a good choice. Or you can go down the route of crit chance or crit damage. That's entirely up to you. Headshot damage, it's fine. But trust me when I say this, guys, don't go skill haste on this. You'll find much more benefit if you use a blue or a red. Trust me, you'll thank me later. The next piece of Empress International is this piece. This is the holster. And it's got skill damage. And again, I can just optimize this a little bit more to get another 0.9% skill damage on there. And armor regen. And armor regen just keeps you alive, keeps you in the fight. And that's really helpful in legendary missions. With heroics, yeah, it's handy. It's very handy. That means you don't need a heal, which is good. But still, for legendary missions where you spend a lot of time in cover, this armor regen just go a long way. It means if no one's running a healer, you can stay alive a little bit longer, not worried about that last iota of armor. The last piece of Empress International, again, is the gloves. Now the gloves with these, you can see, God Sausage Roll, this is what I want. skill damage, and armor regen. So you can see on the 3 pieces of Empress that I have already, I have armor regen, I have skill damage. And that's the way to go on this build. Again, some people say, skill haste, skill haste. Potentially, yeah, it may do you okay. But once we go through the talents, you'll see skill haste is really redundant on this build. For me, I want to stay alive a bit longer, so the armor regen pays dividends. Then guys, we'll take a look at the Kneepads. And the Kneepads are Fox's Prayer Kneepads, guys. Yes, Fox's Prayer. Now, I've had a few of these drop and the weapon damage has always been crap. And then we have damage to targets out of cover, which is nice. And skill damage. Yes, I have rolled off, I think it was weapon handling if I recollect, and used skill damage. With this piece, and what you need to do with this piece, is you need to make sure that you re-roll the bottom attribute from wherever red attribute it is, or whatever it drops as, for skill damage, 10% skill damage. And then if you can, if it's not dropping at, again, 15% weapon damage, is optimize it up to 15%. And in doing so, that means more damage for your weapons. Trust me guys, this is the way you need to go. But what the benefit is of using this, and there's a couple. The first thing is, I have an AR and I have a rifle. So I could easily use my rifle, switch out. I'm gonna get an extra 22.2% damage for my rifle. My rifle is the Harmony, and that is extra weapon damage also because, yeah, it has the in-sync talent. So yeah, I'm gonna get a lot more bang for the buck. And not to mention as well, damage to targets out of cover will help your skills. It helps your skills, guys, yes. So if you're looking for a skill, something a little bit different, trust me, use this. I'm using this on the turret and the oxidizer, and it works. It's a sweet treat. Damage to targets out of cover, and especially if you have an attribute on your weapon, which is that, you will get a lot of more bang for the buck. However, I haven't, and we'll go through that why when we see the weapons. Now guys, let's go through the backpack, and the backpack is the exotic Acosta's Go bag, and not a lot of people use this nowadays, but I'm using it with this skill variant because it gives me so much more value. For me, the one thing I've got to spam this out and say is, we know when you use the fire starter as an example, you spam your chem launcher. You know, once that ignite happens, it could catch a number of enemies and the status effects will spread. However, with the oxidizer, there's no status effect. There's no spreading of that damage unless the NPCs are in that vicinity of purple goo. And if they're there, they're gonna have some damage. But what I want, guys, what I really want on the build is that extra radius. And we know what the Acosta's Go bag will do with that extra radius. And I'll demonstrate that right now. So, guys, I'm in the range. And what I'm going to do is just use my oxidizer. Have a look at the radius. Okay, the radius is good. Again, so base damage, there you go, 189,533. And that's just base before anything happens. And what I'm going to do is just wait for that little gas to go. You can see that's the radius. That's what we're looking at. Again, that nice tick. Awesome. But I'm just going to spam a nade. And then look what happens. It covers up the entire room. I'm getting an extra 25k damage, which is beautiful. And again, that radius, look at it. Absolutely amazing. But also, you've probably seen a little talent that has popped up on the NPCs, and that is this one, which we'll talk about shortly. But back to the build, Acosta's Go bag. Why am I using this Go bag? Of course, guys. Yes, of course. Not many people use this. It's skill haste, skill damage. They are the two set attributes. I'm using protection from elites. Again, this is for the legendary content. One in hand. Throwing a grenade, as demonstrated, refunds it and grants 1+ skill tier for 15 seconds. Grants overcharge if already at skill tier 6. Again, fantastic. The cooldown is 60 seconds. So every 60 seconds, I can throw a grenade and I will have a humongous radius on my oxidizer skill variant, which we know by now, guys, is powerful. And again, once I'm stacking the capacitor damage, which I'll demonstrate again shortly, you can see the kick it'll give your build. 2 in the bag. There's 1 armor kit capacity, which it is what it is. 3 grenades, which are really helpful because, again, I've got the Acosta's Go bag. And to proc, 1 in the hand. 25% ammo capacity. Again, so-so. Repair skill, status effects, doesn't matter. Doesn't help me. But the grenade capacity does. And 1 in hand will benefit me greatly. Let's take a look at the chest piece. And this is where it starts to shine a little, because I'm using Wyvernware, and you have to use Wyvernware. Doesn't have to be on the chest piece, it could be any of the pieces other than the backpack. As long as you have one piece Wyvern, awesome. And again, the Kneepads, because it's Fox's Prayer, of course. So one piece Wyvern, put that 10% skill damage, elevates the build a bit more. So if you're using using Hanayu, again, you've got a dead stat because that's skill haste. It's a redundant on the build, trust me, it is. Now with this is skill haste, it is skill damage and protection from elites. And again, this is a fairly older piece that I've had. I can re-roll that skill haste and put it to something else. I could use, as an example, armor regen. I could use crit damage, crit chance. Again, there's plenty of options. You do what you feel necessary. I might go for armor regen to have about 20k of base armor regen, which is beautiful. But protection from elites, again, legendary content, it'll help. It's all about tag team. The last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 6 seconds, and the cooldown is 4 seconds. So tag team, how does it work? Very simply, guys. Again, we're in the range. Let me just reload. All I'm going to do now is pop my turret, and I feel the turret is the best option. You could use, if you wanted to, the striker drone, which is a good option. Don't get me wrong, but I do love this assault turret. One, for the nice damage it does. It's going to proc an NPC. All you need to do is just shoot said NPC. The guy at the back. Once the NPC is shot, what it'll do is provide the cooldown. So let me just spam this. And you'll see it's procced. Or you could try and kill yourself by using the Oxidiser. Brilliant. Look. You can't die, Woo. You're not dying. I love this. Sorry, I couldn't resist doing it, guys. I couldn't resist. We know we do this in the battlefield too often. I do it every single time. Right, cool. So let's, again, NPC, proc him. There you go. I'm shaving 6 seconds off every time. It's beautiful, isn't it? That's the reason I'm using the turret, again, to get that back quickly, effectively. Let me just spam a few of these. And what I'm going to do is just proc this, and then look at that. Damn, the radius is humongous. In terms of damage, I'm getting about 275, 280 with this. Again, it's beautiful. And you could say, guys, before you carry on, I know someone will say this in the comment section, they always do have an opinion, which is great. But you could say, why don't you change this for glass cannon? That is an option. Again, you are having that protection from elites, so that glass cannon will help. But guys, I want to spam the purple goo, and in doing so, tag team is the best, the single best talent to use with the Oxidiser, because you get more bang. Yes, you guessed it, for the buck, and that means you can spam more, which is more damage over time, more survivability also. Tag team. This build, much better than Glass Cannon. Trust me, it is. Great talent. It is a fantastic talent. Not on every single skill variant, but for the Oxidiser, you cannot go wrong with this. It's perfect. Weapons, guys, yeah, we've seen it in action. It's the capacitor. Capacitance. Shooting enemies build stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage after 5 seconds. Stacks decay 1 per second. That's 60% extra skill damage. It's 60%. For each skill tier gain, 7.5% weapon damage. So that is on this build an extra 45% weapon damage. Mods are fixed, crit chance, rounds, crit damage, and weapon handling. Again, what you could do is go for more crit chance because you have some decent crit damage. You'll proc about 350k crits, which is alright. Or you could go more crit damage and get an extra 36% on there potentially to make you, when you do crit, you crit hard. That is an idea also, guys. Secondary is the harmony, which again, it will benefit because I am using Fox's Prayer Kneepads, and I also have damage to targets out of cover, which will work with my skills. Trust me, guys, it does. Damage to targets out of cover is great. 10% there, 8% on the Kneepads, there's 18%. Perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill will damage an enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Again, these are doubled while active at the same time. Again, the oxidizer, due to the duration of the gas, will cause that damage. And again, you've got your assault turret. Big bada boom. Damage. You get that 40% if you use the harmony. Attachments, we're looking crit chance, rounds, crit chance, and critical hit damage. Sidearm, again, guys, you know this by now. I don't use it. It's there because it's there. That's it. It's a placeholder. I don't care. TDI card custom. Again, Instinct's on there. Happy days. Guys, yeah, I'll move on. Let's take a look at the skills. First skill is the assault turret. Again, it doesn't have a 3.9 second reload speed. I'm in the good old firing range. I always forget to do this, guys. I always. And again, it's just a bad habit. I apologise. But yeah, so what we'll do, we'll skip to this one first. 17.4 second cooldown. Simple as, guys. Assault turret up. They can just tick the enemies. They can mark them. What happens? Spam all the way through. Shoot those NPCs which are marked. You will shave off 6 seconds every 4 seconds consistently. So that's, you'll easily get, again, within a space of 8 seconds, you'll be fine. You're back again. You'll have those beautiful oxidizers to spam. That's the way to go for me on the build. Now, with the, we don't see the decoy. We don't see the decoy at all. So with these, again, I've been testing this stuff out. So you don't want burn strength. What you want, guys, is damage. All day, all long. This one here. So you want damage, that extra 5% damage, which is great. And again, I've been testing stuff out. You don't, trust me, burn strength don't work. You want damage. That's what you want. And also is ammo. Get your ammo on there as well. That helps. So it's 180k cloud damage. And that's exactly what you need. Again, that 17.4 second cooldown is fine. Because, you know it, guys, because you're going to smash it. So again, with this, let's just get this all firing all cylinders. So the oxidizer crits at 305. Stars rely 305, that's what you're looking at. So yeah, that's quite nice. Moving forward, we have got the assault turret, which is a 16.2 second cooldown, which again is fine because we know I've got that awesome skill. And again, I could switch that out if need be. If it breaks down, whatever, it doesn't, guys, but if need be, oxidize it, spam an enemy. When NPCs walk into it, get marked, tag them, you're going to shave off 6 seconds. It's fine, guys. It truly is. The damage is 121.494. Okay, that's decent. Damage duration and skill haste are the mods I've chosen on this. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is the build. And let's just quickly go through the stats. Again, crit chance, crit damage, weapon damage. They are what they are. That's fine. There's a bit of extra weapon damage on the build, 67.2, because, yeah, Foxy's Prayer, which is decent. 30% assault rifle damage and 25% rifle damage. I have 14,775 armor regen. I could potentially get another 5k, so that's nearly 20k armor regen. Again, that's a nice tick of health that comes back to you. And then you have, guys, the last thing is protection from elites, 36%, which is nice. That's huge survivability in PvE legendary content. 53.6% skill haste. That's also cool because you have tag team. But let's just quickly demonstrate how quickly the armor comes back. And this is simply 15k. Again, I can remove some more skill haste if need be to get this back even quicker. And it's effective, guys. It truly is. But this is the build. This is what I've been using. I've used it in a few legendary missions. It's great. It's fun. I'm using it in a lot of heroic content, and it's great. And I'm switching out the protection from elites to armor on kill or more damage. But I'm loving it, guys. I'm loving it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs doodle. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.